Hi everyone, I'm Julia, also known as Planet Jules on Instagram, and I'm coming here to you with a face-to-face video because I asked you on my Instagram account to shoot me some questions so I can do a Q&A video. So this is it. I'm sorry if I'm looking at off the camera. I'm still getting used to this, and yeah. So let's hop on to Instagram right now. And I will try and answer all the questions that you guys asked me. So the first question is from Simplifying a Life. How do you figure out what planner system is right for you? So the short answer is trial and error. And the longer answer is I always ask myself, what do I need in my planner that will support my lifestyle, my current lifestyle especially. So what that means is, when I started planning, I was a young mom. I had young kids, they were, newborns and everything else. And I just needed to keep track of house tasks, doctor's appointments, and my husband's schedule, when he was traveling, where he needed to go and what to do. And since we lived in Germany, I had to do some German related bureaucracy stuff, because we're a American German family. So so I had to take care of all of those type of things because my husband doesn't speak German, and so I needed a planner to track all this. The best planner for me was, and still is to this day, the bullet journal. The system I just really love because it's very versatile. It can be very adapted to many different lifestyles, but I just need to figure out I get inspiration, of course, from the planner community, Instagram accounts or Pinterest, or especially YouTube, where I can see those beautiful planners. They inspire me to try it out because I see them oh, they look very helpful, the system looks very good, rings, for example. I was quite a long time in personal size rings, and it was super helpful because I can just switch it out as I needed to. It's very versatile. You can do there's so many different inserts that you can try. You can just go on Etsy, you can make your own, you can print your own. There's so many possibilities, but yeah, it boils down to just trial and error. You have to figure out what you need in your planner, what you need in your life, what you need to track, and then just go from there. So the next question is from Exoplans. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna put the name down here. Do the mouth liners smear the ink in your Moleskine? I have that problem. Doesn't matter what gel pen I use, even if I let that ink dry. Yes. Gel pens and highlighters highly depend on the paper quality. On some paper, the paper is good enough to soak up the wetness or the ink of the gel pen, so you won't have the problem with highlighting over gel pens. However, Moleskine paper does not soak it up so much because it was targeted towards fountain pens, so it's not as absorbent, and it just doesn't really work with certain gel pens unless you use the very, very thin nibbed ones. I'm talking about the 0.38 or 0.28 nib gel pens. You will experience some smearing on Moleskine paper, but it's not necessarily only Moleskine. It's other notebooks as well, like the Leuchtturm, for example. It's a little bit better quality, in my opinion, but it still takes some time. I always let the ink dry before I go over it with the highlighters. Any kind of highlighter will smear some of the gel pens. The best notebooks that I have ever discovered that will go perfectly with gel ink and highlighting straight away are the May Designs notebooks that I currently use in my current A6 planner. So those will be perfect. Otherwise, I can just suggest using ballpoint pens. My favorite ballpoint pen is the Aquaball Pilot ballpoint. The ink is super smooth. They write for a long time. I use them for school all the time, and I use them in my bullet journals as well. So I hope that answered your question. So the next one here is from Sandra Meander. Sandra Amanda. Hi, I'd love to know if you archive your planners, and if you do, how do you organize them? I do archive my planners. When I'm in Rings, I just take out the inserts that have, passed, like the past months, or I don't need, to reference them anymore. I just take them out and I'm I'm just putting it in the Ziploc. I just date the front, where you have this white spot where I can like write down the date. So that's what I do. I just date it, like inserts like 2018, and I say which kind are inside, and then I just store them this way. I have another system for my lists or reference sheets. I just keep them in a plastic box that will fit like personal size, so I can stack them like vertically, so I can like flip through them. It's almost like the old school I don't know, like where you had like those files systems, kind of, where I have dividers. I didn't make dividers yet, so I will make an organizational video on my planner supplies and my actual like planner stash and whatever in the future. But just to answer this, like I just store it in the Ziploc bag, and of course a notebook, like an insert from a traveler's notebook, I can just like take out. I can put a label on top, write down what exactly is in it, and sort of like a small index, and then I just put it in my bookshelf where I store my planners. It's very simple. I'm not very complicated, and I swear like my organizational system is not as fancy or beautiful or Pinterest ready, to be honest, but it works. Okay, so EcoPlay, I think EcoPlay asked, what do your symbols stand for? Diamonds, squares, etc. The symbols that I use in my planner are the original bullet journal system. So you had the square for tasks, the triangle for time-specific appointments, circles for events. Like appointments and events always confused me at first. Like appointments for me is like there's a time frame to it. An event could be just like a birthday or like an ongoing all-day event, nothing time-specific. Like I put the circle also even like when I go out to grocery shop, because it's kind of an event. I have to go out, I have to be somewhere, but not at a specific time. So I put a circle for anything that's not time-specific, a triangle when it's specific. A simple dot that is nowadays in the new bullet journal key is like considered a task. I just use it for journaling or notes. Things that happen throughout the day. Sometimes I just need to reference it, or sometimes I just want to know what happened a few weeks ago. Like I want to know when my kids were sick, what symptoms they had. So when I go to the doctor, I can flip through my my bullet journal and then immediately say, okay, he had this high fever on this day. I gave him Tylenol, went down to this, and so on. It's a good reference point. I just like to combine planning and journaling, so this is why I love the bullet journal system, so it's really cool. The next question is from Pretty in Pink 2. So my question is, do you change your system often, as in to stay motivated? I tend to change my system quite often because my life changes often. It's kind of like, how can I say that best? So the most consistent I have ever been is when I use a combination of like monthly, weekly, and bullet journal. This seems to be like the best way for me to like for any kind of system, any kind of planner that I have ever used. I always had a monthly, I always had a weekly, and I always had a bullet journal aspect to it. If it was like a daily insert that I treated, it was undated, and I just treated it as a bullet journal. I still had the same symbols going on. But right now, like the system that I have now is a weekly and the bullet journal. The weekly is simply because I need to see in advance what is going on, and the bullet journal keeps me focused on the day. Like, what is going on today? What do I need to focus on? And I love the migrating system. This is what keeps me seriously motivated. It's not changing planners or systems or styles. is really just the migrating system of the bullet journal, where you put down a task that you scheduled. You just cross off anything that you did that day, and then until you transfer to the next day, you know, you just then put a little arrow that you transferred or migrated it to the next day. And when you do it a couple of times, like throughout the whole week, I did not, last week, I wanted to vacuum the house, but I just didn't get to it because I was lazy, and I kept migrating and migrating and migrating it. So finally Sunday came and I was like, I had the whole week to finally finish this task, so now I really have to do it. That's all, in all honesty here, this is how it is. I'm not perfect at all. Sometimes it looks like I get a lot of things done, and I do, but it's only because of the bullet journal. That system is really keeping me, you know, motivated to finally do the things that I actually plan to do, even if I think they're like small tasks or they will take like a long time, because everything in the house always makes me think it takes such a long time to do, when in reality it's like half an hour to vacuum the house. It's just half an hour. All right, so the next question is from Fred Upon. I don't know. Which YouTubers do you recommend to watch for planning inspiration? There's so many YouTubers. I can only name a few that, you know, like, that really inspire me are Rachel Dunway. She is currently not posting any videos, but her old videos that she still has up on her YouTube channel are just fantastic. I love her style. It's very pretty but very functional at the same time. I love her handwriting. I love her, like, the categories that she uses in her personal size ring planner. Then Monique Smith, Arisen You on Instagram. I love her handwriting, and she switches planners, but not so much like her systems. I feel like she's the same like me. Like, she keeps like the same system, but switches like the sizes, tries out new things every now and then. But it's very cool. Like, I love her style. She uses stickers, but again, she's very functional and just such a big inspiration. And again, like, her handwriting is to die for. And another handwriting envy that I have, because I'm very focused on handwriting. I love when people have very unique or pretty handwriting. And another one of those is Coffee Monsters Co. Coffee Monsters Co. She has her own sticker shop, and I love her little, like, what are those guys called? I don't remember. Anyway, so like her handwriting is gorgeous, and she uses an Erin Condren, and she uses, I think, a pocket-sized traveler's notebook. But even though I don't use those specific planners, I still get inspiration. Like, I don't know, because I just love her style. I mean, it's very sticker heavy and it's very decorative, but at the same time, it's just like so calming, and I just love her videos. So for me, she's an inspiration because she has beautiful handwriting. She's very put together, and she's so young, which surprised me how young she actually was, and already like such a big name, which is great. And the last one that I can think of right now is Ink Imperfections. I recently discovered her on YouTube. I saw her on Instagram for a while, and she has the most amazing traveler's notebooks I have ever seen. They look so sophisticated. They look so put together. Her style is just also very minimalistic, but and it's like very to the point. And her videos are very, very good. Like, she explains things so well. I could never explain things that way. She gets to the point. It's very nice. She has a beautiful voice. I love her voice very much. And she's just, she's very goal-oriented, and she does a lot of research on how to get organized, and she puts notes. Like, she's very good at taking notes from, like, books. Like, the recent one that she did was the Getting Things Done method from that one book that everybody is talking about. I forgot the author. I'll probably, put it in here. And she did some beautiful notes on that, and it's just very, very nice to see, like, when somebody is, like, organized and can express it very well in her planner, and I love that. Like, those are my 4 inspirations for now, but there's like, if you search on YouTube for like functional planning or minimal planning or minimalist planning, you will find some really, really good like organizational tips. I'm not bashing anyone with like, you know, highly decorated planners. Those are beautiful to look at. I really, really do love them, but when you look for organization or planner inspiration, if you go into like the more minimalist you know, section, there you can actually find more like a talk through how people organize or how they plan or what their layouts mean and everything else. And of course, another tip is like, watch for old videos, like videos that have been posted like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, because this was like you know, Etsy pre-decorating era. So you can still find very good like organizational tips on how to set up your planner. All right, so the next question is from Simply Maki. I have a couple. What is your process in switching planner systems, or do you use all of them at once? Also, if you could try another system, what would it be? So my process of switching planners is simply, first of all, I look if any like of my current information and lists, if I need to transfer them. If I go from like one, especially like from one size to the next, then I definitely have to transfer something. Usually I have switched so many times. I usually have a notebook that has some sort of reference in it already that I can just add into my new traveler's notebook. Or as I said before, when I talked about like the ring planners have you know, the ability, you can just like take out the pages and add new ones. So the ones that I take out, I always keep. So down the line, if I need a page about like our favorite foods or doctor's information or anything else, I can just like take it out from my little organization system, my little box, take it out and put it in my ring planner. That is a very plus, you know, thing to have, is a ring planner for planning and really staying consistent, because you can just keep those papers and then seamlessly like, you know, put them in and just keep on writing. But other than that, I just take the important information out of the old planner, put it in a new one. Then I usually have a very good idea what I want to have as a setup or inserts that I want to use. So I try and like familiarize myself with those layouts and then just go from there. I'm really trying to keep it, you know, very simple. But as for the last question is what other system I would love to try, is the Hobonichi A6, in fact, because it already is very much like the style that I use, monthly, weekly, daily planning, and I would love to try this, and the paper is really intriguing me, so I hope to do this. And then the last question is from Yay for Fridays, which I love the name, by the way, and she was asking about, hang on a second, I need to read this. I wanted to know, as a student and mom myself, do you have any time management tips to help you balance everything? I suppose you can add to you. Do you use your planner to help achieve this? Yes, I do use my planner a lot. So time management is a very important thing, especially when you're like working or you have family and you're going to school, because studying is very hard. Nowadays, you know, you have those condensed classes, so you have the same amount of material as for 14 weeks, but condensed into 7 weeks. So the planner is crucial to keep track of all the assignments, all the homework due, all the exams, quizzes, everything else. Then the second thing is set alarms. Set yourself alarms so you wake up every day, even on the weekends. Wake up every day at the same time, have the same routine, know where everything is. Having an organized home also helps, where, you know, okay, this is where my school stuff is, this is where my calculator is and everything else. And that definitely helps, especially in the mornings, because you have to rush the kids off to like the bus or school or anything else, and then you have to rush yourself to school if you take morning classes. My boys also are like, my oldest is in kindergarten and the younger one is in daycare, so I give myself time until 5. So at 2:30 my son comes home from school, so I pick him up, and He's usually very quiet and calm, so I can still work on certain assignments or homework until I have to pick up my other son. And I set myself time like from when school for me stops until 5 o'clock. This is where I can do homework, do the studying and everything else. And after that, no more. I don't touch the books. I just set up my backpack for the next day, and that's it. I never study at night. I only study during the day, during those hours. And then I pick up my son. Then it's dinner time, you know the drill, bath time, bedtime, and then I usually go to bed early as well because I always wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm sorry. And another thing that really has helped me is like learning on the go, the app Quizlet. Quizlet is a heaven sent. It's index cards. It's an app that basically has index cards, and the way you learn, like you can set them up yourself. You can look through existing sets that other students have formed. There's sometimes even teachers that will give you like a code, or they even set up index cards for you. This app is like the best thing ever. If you have anything that requires memorization, like biological classes or classes that require a lot of like definition knowledge, yeah, Quizlet is the way to go. And then the next thing is like every time the teacher says, okay, you have homework and it's due next week, just do it the day that the teacher said, you know, that you have homework. It really helps just get it out of the way as soon as possible. When I had math class, we had always homework, and it would take maybe an hour to finish it because it was online and like a little program thing. And I would just come home after class. My kids are still in school. I would sit down, I would knock the homework out of the way, get some practice in, and then I would have it out of the way, and I could focus on a like maybe much harder class. Like I had anatomy and physiology, which was super hard. So that really helps. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I answered all the questions. If you have any more questions, you're more than welcome to put them down in the comments below. And I will talk to you soon and see you later. Bye!